Northwestern Wildcats getting set for the 17th season in the tenure of Pat Fitzgerald. You see lots of continuity in terms of returning production and in terms of the coaching staff. Cam Porter coming back. They'll add him to Evan Holt, who you saw there, to form one of the better running back duos in the Big Ten. And the Wildcats having some fun here in Indy. You see Adetomiwa Adebare there. Coach Fitzgerald. Oh, okay. That's what you're going to get, huh? A little photo bomb from Fitz. Adetomiwa Adebare, Cam Mitchell, Peter Skoronsky joining us here to talk a little bit about the Cats. And let's start with this, guys. We saw the highlight from Evan Holt, but let's just be honest. From where you guys were the previous year, you were here in Indy in the Big Ten championship game. This program's been in the championship game 2 of the last 4 years. Last year was not the season that you wanted. So how do you put that year in the rearview mirror and move back to where you were in 2020 and 2018 as a championship program?
Well, obviously, it was a rough year. I think it's very important to acknowledge the year so we can move forward. So you acknowledge it, you look at the problems, you solve those issues by taking it day by day, working on the little details, focusing on the little processes every day.
Cameron, what were the problems? I mean, you say we need to solve the problems. What were the problems?
After last season, we just lost the respect that we had going into it. So, we just didn't have that fight that we had when you saw us in this building a couple years ago. And I just think that was our main problem. That's our main focus going into this season, just trying to get that back.
Peter, how do you do that? How do you get it back?
I think we kind of look back at some of the great Northwestern teams and those attributes that they had. Physicality, scrappiness, intensity, discipline, and just trying to get those back. That's what made those teams great, and we're trying to emulate those teams and have another successful year.
And again, you guys are all part of that. I mean, you all played here in the Big Ten championship game. What has Fitz's message been, Peter? What has he said to you about what the program needs to do to right the ship?
I think it does go back to those core attributes. I think, he's had so much success here, and he knows what it looks like. And he's building us up to know that we can be that team again, and just trying to get back to basics, get back to doing what Northwestern football does. And I think if we can do that, we'll be in good shape.
You guys open in Dublin against Nebraska, a team that really handed it to you last year. How much motivation is that, Cameron, to kind of get off on the right foot?
Yeah, we're going to Dublin, a new place. We're going to have some fun experiences, but we're there for business, man. We all saw the game last year. And, we're going in, we're trying to be gritty. We're trying to get that back. A couple years ago, we were doing pretty well, and just going into Nebraska last year, just not ending how we wanted it to. We're going in with a lot of hunger, man. We're hungry.
Adetomiwa, how do you balance that notion of going to Ireland and having an experience unlike any that anyone's had in terms of playing internationally? How do you balance that with what Cameron's talking about, that, hey, this is a game, we got to win, we got to get the season off on the right foot, we got to avenge a defeat? What's the balancing act there?
Right, a lot's going on, but I think it's important just to focus at the task at hand. That's obviously to beat Nebraska. Obviously, it's going to be fun in Ireland. Seeing, I've never been outside the country, so for me, it's going to be a great experience. But at the end of the day, you got to get the job done, and that's obviously beat Nebraska. So.
All right, so how do you go about doing that? Like, what as you kick off and you guys report tomorrow to camp and start camp the following day, what's the first step towards rebuilding a winning program? Just
being consistent, taking every day with a mindset to get better, to look at things you have to improve on, and then going from there. Building on top of that, not going backwards, but always going forward, and I think continue to push each other and being together as a team is going to get us to where we need to be.
Peter, you are on just about every All-American team coming into this year. There's a lot of buzz that you'll be a first-round pick in the NFL draft when you choose to come out. How do you kind of put all that aside and compartmentalize it and focus on the task at hand?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to be on lists and stuff like that, but it really doesn't mean anything if you don't prove it on the field. Preseason or whatever, it doesn't matter once the season hits and you have to play. I'm just trying to focus day by day, just trying to get better every day as a player and improve my technique. I feel like if I just really lock in, day out, try to get better, I think it'll all take care of itself in the end.
There's a lot of focus on the quarterback spot, and you guys are uniquely positioned to talk about it because you see those plays, right, straight on. You see Brendan Sullivan, Ryan Helinski, and what they've done. Interested in your perspective, particularly you, Cam, as a defensive back. I mean, you see the balls these guys are throwing. Give us a sense of where the quarterback spot is and why I assume you believe it'll be better.
And we got two guys that are competing, and that's what it's going to be, and that's and that's what it's going to be until we get to Ireland. They're competing, and they're doing a really good job.
What stands out about each guy?
Just their confidence, both of them. Actually, like coming off of last year, they put their hard head on and they went to work, and they got a lot of confidence. They displayed it really well in the spring, and I'm excited to see the quarterback competition, honestly.
At a time, well, one of the areas where you guys have been so successful through the years was defense, and you had one of the elite defenses in America in 2020. And again, both you guys were a part of that. Why do you believe it fell off last year? Like, what happened here?
Well, we just have to get that, relentless mindset back. I think we got very comfortable last year, coming off a great year. And, when you're comfortable, you kind of don't remember those little details and things you have to make sure you emphasize every single day.
Like, what's a detail that might have slipped through where you kind of look back at film and you said, man, I should have done X and didn't do it?
I mean, it could be as little as like coming into the workout, right? Being on time, showing up early, doing your little workouts, to finish into the line during warm-ups, to, going as hard as you can for as long as you can. Our team kind of motto, Wildcat Way, every single day. So those are like the little things, people tend to forget. But we have to make sure we harp on that and continue to push forward on top of that.
Cameron, what about X and O? I mean, look, there was a change in coordinator. Mike Hankwitz retired after an unbelievable run as a defensive coordinator. You had a new coordinator in there. Was terminology challenging? Was that transition part of the issue?
I wouldn't say that was part of the issue. We're at Northwestern, a lot of smart guys. We just got to get that fight back, just like Tommy said. Like, coming off a season like that, you can't prepare the same way that you did last year. Something's got to change, and it's just a mindset thing. It's all a mindset.
Cameron, I've done some really deep digging on you. I mean, I got researchers all over the place, right, trying to get the details. I have learned that you are referred to as the juice man on the team. So I need to know why, and I need to know how that manifests itself. Why are you the juice man?
See, I have a feeling I know who told you this, but I don't know. It's just a little joke going around. I like to have a good time. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna keep it short. I like to have a good time.
All right. So how do you bring the juice? Hey, this is not grapefruit juice you're bringing, right?
This ain't grapefruit juice. No.
Okay. All right. So how do you bring it on a day-to-day basis? How might we see you as the juice man?
You gotta have that energy, man. Like Tommy talked about. It's about being consistent in the weight room, but it's also about being consistent in the energy. And I see myself as a leader. And when you're a leader, all eyes are on you. You got to bring that same intensity, that same energy every day, that same juice every day.
All right, so he just went Tommy. Can I call you Tommy?
I prefer out of Tommy Walker.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought I'd been let off.
No, you're good. You're good.
Because I worked on it. I want you to know I worked on it for quite some time.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, out of Tamawa. See, that was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
How do you see each one of these guys as leaders? How do you see Cam as a leader? How do you see Peter as a leader?
Just competitors. I mean, they compete every single day. They want to win. They win, right? They finish through, and they just keep pushing everybody else to get to their standard, to get to their level. So that's one thing I see in both these guys every day.
Yeah, interesting. I want to, one of the things that kind of is the characteristic of programs that get better is guys emerge.
Right.
And it's someone you didn't know about that all of a sudden becomes a star. I mean, look, Evan Holt did it last year, right? I mean, Evan Holt was a little bit of certainly the outsiders was a bit of an afterthought coming into the year. I would say you did it last year as well, right? Really emerged, becoming one of the leaders of that defensive line. So who are those guys? Like, Peter, tell me someone who you're around, maybe it's in your position group, who you think could emerge this year and become one of the players we're talking about.
I mean, I can name a few names. I would say on the offensive line is Ethan Whitaker, who was a really solid tackle for us at right tackle last year. Played really well the whole season, played well his junior year too, but he's been really solid. And then I'd say Malik Washington, a wide receiver. People are not talking about him enough. He was a dynamic playmaker for us last year, and he'll be even better this year. I believe in that, and it's a name to know for sure.
Cameron?
I won't name anybody specifically. I was just going to say we got a lot of competitive depth on the defense this year. We got a lot of young guys that, if need be, will come in and really help the team win. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do when they get their opportunity.
Tamawa?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the competition we're going to have in camp. A lot of guys have a lot of opportunities to, step up for us, and I think they will. So I'm really excited to see it.
I like to ask players this when they come up here. How do you define success for your team? At the end of the year, at January 15th, if I say this was a successful year, what would it have to look like?
Winning the Big Ten. That's simple. Winning the Big Ten, and not ever giving up throughout the process. Going as like I said, Fitch talks about the Wildcat way. Go as hard as you can for as long as you can, and if we do those two things, I'll call it a success.
Cameron?
I agree, man. 2 years ago we were back in this building, And I felt like we could have won that game, honestly. So, you know, to be a success, it would have to end right here.
Peter?
I'd say echo everything they said, and then on micro level, just knowing you've done your job as a player, I think that's success. And when you do that, stuff like the Big Ten Championship will take care of itself.
Peter, Cameron, Adetama, thanks so much, guys.
Thank
really
you so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure to
Thank
meet
you.
all three of you.